Okay, wait. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Charles SMP News Network. Today, have been invited to the Jagged Empire by Jagged Cake to do an interview
Yes, hello.
with Drew Lemon, mainly on some of the recent war stuff and Mephisto secession. First, I'm just gonna let you go ahead and introduce yourself again, Lemon, for those who haven't seen the other interviews with you.
My name is Drew Lemon. I'm a player of the Charles SMP. I joined 2023. I am the king of Swagtopia. Recently, I have seceded from Swagtopia, not seceded from Lopad, and made Swagtopia its own independent state under the AFFS.
So, can you tell us what led to it was called Mephisto being in Lopad for so long? It was in Lopad for something like 6 months, wasn't it?
Yeah,
What led up
mainly
to that?
because I really liked Lopad. I like people there like Xavier, Tamaz, Zolo. I just liked people there. They helped me out a bunch. They were basically my friends. I thought the only way of them being my friends is being a part of their group in the Minecraft game, which I soon realized that that's not how it works. You can be friends with them outside of Minecraft.
Mm-hmm.
And after I learned that, I'm like, why am I still in Lopad? And after how like Lopad has been treating me for like the longest time, with the whole Glassopian revolution kind of going on right now,
What do you mean
that's kind
Glassopia
of why.
Revolution?
That's kind of literally what it is.
Here,
The
go into
Slack
that real quick.
manipulation.
Go into that real quick. I'd like to hear that.
About the Slack manipulation.
Yeah. Oh,
Oh, you got lemonades.
of course I did.
All right. You good now?
Yep.
All right. About the Slack manipulation. I don't hate Slack, nor do I like Slack, but the fact when he came back to the server, literally everyone was glazing him. And everyone only stopped glazing him after they realized who he really was. After planning to segregate the server, saying death to Islam, and about blowing up mosques and stuff. That was the turning point. But for people like Easton, SMK, Peep, that still idolize him, that kind of upsetted me. And the fact that they were all in Lopad, that's kind of why, led up to it. I'd rather be with a bunch of people who actually treat me nice and don't worship Slack than people who do that.
Yeah, one second. Let me get rid of this. So when you say Glassopia Revolution, what do you mean? You mean that Lopad has become more like what Glassopia was, or what do you mean?
The members are kind of turning into the Glassopian members, which were GLX, Broba, Slack, of course, and Fred Pratt. I think it's just the influence of Glassopia or the influence of Slack that's what's starting this soon-to-be Glassopian revolution. And Slack is telling SMK to plant down Glassopian flags all across the server. And I think that it's going to jumpstart the Glassopian revolution anytime soon, especially with the return of Giggle.
Yeah. Now, didn't you also like almost deify people like Slack and Broba and not really Fred, but GLX too even? Didn't you do the exact same things that you're saying they're doing right now?
Well, I can't lie that I didn't, but of course I did, because at the time I wasn't educated about what they were doing, even though they had really can't make an excuse for it besides like, oh, they're cool griefers. But ever since that, I think I've grown from the shadows of the Cavaliers, and I think I've bettered myself, and I hope to not fall under that influence ever again.
That's good. And so I don't know if we've really touched on this. What we did, what drove you to secede, but on top of seceding, you joined the AFFS. What was the motive behind that? What is your goal with joining the AFFS?
So I want to make it clear that I'm not really an official AFFS member. People at AFFS don't even trust me yet, despite that I'm literally wearing the AFFS strip. Besides, good drip by the way. You should guys definitely get this Lepadistan. This is what back on topic. Yeah, I really didn't join the AFF Fest. I just wanted my city back, and they have possession of my city, and my people like Monkey were really upset when they realized that their city got taken over by a bunch of people that they didn't even really know. You know, Monkey, he was kind of in the hands of Lopad. So was Rifteen, and I'm doing my best to convert them to my side so they don't fall under the Glassopian revolt as SMK, Peep, and forgot who else. Yeah, just Easton and Peep, I guess.
So you're currently trying to bring your old members back from Lopad.
Yes, besides, actually, there's no other Lopadistan members from Mephisto. Basically, I just want to bring them into a safer environment. I want them to feel free back in their home. And I feel like that helping the AFFS and allowing them to give them my city back to me and my people will be the right thing.
Yeah. Have you got any plans for post-war Mephisto or Swagtopia now?
Of course, I really want to expand the city so much because it's been like a small village for most of its time. And I think that I'm ready to start building the skyscrapers and castles, you know?
Make it into a real city.
Yeah, I want to turn it into the next Port Tristan.
And how do you intend on doing that with the giant walls? Are you going to get rid of the walls, or are you just going
I
to
mean,
build next to it, pretty much?
taking down the walls is an idea, but if we go back to war again, then that wouldn't be really good.
Yeah.
So it's still in the consideration, I guess.
And, you know, what happens if Drifting doesn't come back to Mephisto? What if he stays with Loped?
Well, I guess that's his loss.
You're not going to pursue it anymore?
Yep. I have to give up sometimes, like how I did with Easton, you know.
Yeah. What do you think? So you said before that you have been plotting secession since the end of the Coalition War, or even before the Coalition War.
Yeah,
Is
I
that
was
true?
planning after coalition. Yeah, I was. Because I thought it was perfect time because Fred was going to be an issue. My city was going to be targeted anymore, but I didn't expect this to all build up into one huge third spawn war, you know? It's kind of unexpected. And for that to happen, it kind of made my city more hostage than it was in a coalition war.
So you're saying that your city was held hostage by who?
Hostage isn't really that right word. Probably captive, I guess.
By Lopad?
Held captive by the Confederacy of Lopad, of course.
Mm. And so, you know, you were approached during the Coalition War and towards the beginning of this war, if I remember right, about secession and just going independent and not fighting against these groups. If you were plotting secession, why didn't you do that?
Because there's another part of me that was telling me that Lopad is my home and that I need to fight with Luke because Luke is one of the only people in the server that actually gave a name about the server's health and environment.
Mm,
Because Luke, honestly, he doesn't get enough praise for everything he's done,
he
like
doesn't.
taking down Peakshire, uniting people together. He's really like made a huge impact this season, and the fact people don't praise him enough kind of boggles me. And there's kind of another part of me that was like, I need to fight for my land, you know? I need to fight for my home.
So, I mean, you say that when you were saying this, you made it out like it was a done deal, like you were planning it and you were sure. You were 100% sure you were going to succeed. But that's not the case. You were really conflicted
It's,
on it. It was an idea, but it wasn't set in stone.
yeah.
Now, I have a question from Luke Prod in the chat. He asks, "What are your thoughts on the fact that Loped built all of Mephisto?"
You know, I can't thank him enough for it because they actually made Mephisto look nice rather than have it being a two-house city.
Mhm.
At the same time, they are the ones who built a huge wall around it and made it look like a box. And I really, I really didn't like that. But at least they actually turned Swagtopia or Mephisto into an actual city that actually had some value and reason behind it.
Mhm. Which, I mean, how do you feel that it was one of the main targets of the early war?
I really don't know, man. I was kind of worried because after what Fred did to Mephisto, it really hurt to see my church burn down after they gained it.
Mm.
I was like, I'm really worried for my city, because it was basically my home. It was the way that I was independent from the peak chair, basically. It's my way of being who I was. And for that to kind of be taken away from me kind of hurt.
Yeah. We got another question from Prod. He says, "What do you think of the fact that during the Coalition War, we saved Mephisto and let you have governorship right after?"
Well, that's one of the only good things Lopad has done besides everything else. That's kind of all I can say about that.
So, at the beginning of the war, you could probably be considered one of the most anti-AFFS people out there. I mean, with the stuff you were posting and all that, what changed? And I mean, we've talked about why you left Lopad and why you're in the AFFS now, but are those thoughts still there? Do you still think the same things about them?
I think that they kind of perceive themselves differently to other people. Like when I joined up with them, they were treating me as if I was one of their own. But when I was at Lopad, they're treating me as like this huge villain. And outside of the game, I knew Zebdeep. He was really nice. He wasn't like calling me names or anything like Gandhi and all that. He wasn't doing that. And with Lopad, on the other hand, that's kind of same thing can't kind of be said.
Yeah. So you feel more, I guess, welcomed there now? Is what you're trying to say? Hello? Hello? Lemon.
What you
Okay.
say?
Well, I was just kind of trying to sum up what you said. I mean, you feel more welcomed there now.
Kind of. I mean, neutral, but at the same, it's
Neutral.
kind of a weird story with AFFS. I don't hate them. I don't love them.
No. It's kind of just a means to an end.
Kind of.
Do you appreciate that they took the city back from Lopad, or would you prefer things stayed the way they were?
Honestly, I prefer that it would have stayed the same way because I knew that if I were to declare independence from Lopad, it would have been way easier than AFFS.
Yeah. I I don't know. What has the AFFS said about Mephisto independence so far?
So far, that they're not going to let me do it because they think I'm going to go back to Lopad.
Mm,
And I kind of don't understand why they talk about. It's not a shot at the FFS. I want to make it clear. I'm going to stay neutral as I can when I say this. I don't understand what they mean by free all these cities. Then when they want to free them, they don't let the person who owns it, who made the city, free them. Like you
because
can speculate that I'm going to go to Lopad all you want, but at the end of the day, I just want my damn city.
you probably need to assure them that you won't go back to Lopad.
I've done my best. I've been skirmishing Lopad. I've been killing people.
I think
I
that
don't know what else to improve.
if you keep it up, you'll probably get it after the war ends. It's
Thing
not.
is, I'm not just trying to gain their trust. I'm just trying to get my city. And if I'm forced to gain their trust out of just killing people, then I might just have to give up.
Don't give up. They'll give it back to you. I mean, they have no interest there anyway. It's not Spawn.
Hmm.
But
All
yeah,
right.
I mean, So you're not gonna stay in the AFFS after the war ends.
Uh, if they want me to, I will, but like they don't really want me there anyways. I'm just kind of that guy in chat who's helping them out.
Mm.
So to answer that, probably no, but I think it really depends on what happens.
Yeah, that's how everything is. Now, before we end this, is there anything you'd like to say to the people watching?
Uh, Go subscribe to Jace H555. He's put a lot of work into this server, and I cannot thank him enough for giving me a really nice Minecraft server. The server's amazing. You can kill people. Let me see if I can kill Jagged from here.
Don't do that.
Oh,
Now, we do have one question from Tattle, which I'll ask you, then that'll be the last one. He says, or asks, how does Drew think I feel? I was practically a no one. I held no power. I was just a disposable soldier for Lopad back then.
feel about what?
I guess, how do you think he feels? I don't know. Because, I mean, you
About
were in a position of power in Lopad. I guess he's asking why you would drop that when there's people who were just rank and file soldiers.
because even though I was in power, yeah, I rather even though I was a governor for a time, I basically lost that role after I had to go inactive due to IRL reasons.
Mm.
Basically, it was kind of over for me. After that happened, I never got repossession. Easton was a higher rank than me, which wasn't good at all. Easton should not be in ranking of anything or power. So I honestly think that in the Mephisto War, I had more power than I did as a governor, despite how big the lopad is and everything.
Mm-hmm. Which, and I said that was gonna be the last question, but let's go back to the Mephisto War. It's not talked about a whole bunch anymore. But do you think there was any possibility of you winning that?
Oh fuck yeah!
You think so?
Yeah, there definitely was some possibilities. Even though I wasn't that experienced of a leader, it was my first time running a faction. I think I put up a good fight
You did.
because most people like Gravity would just quit after they lose one battle. But for me, I was like, nah. I went on. People were convincing me you got to forfeit after the third battle. I'm like, no. I want to do this new battle system. I want to take over Lopad.
Now you did have to be convinced to keep going. You wanted to surrender.
After the first battle, I was like, oh yeah, I want to surrender. But the more I kept fighting them, I'm like, why would I surrender?
Yeah, I guess so. Do you wish you had kept fighting?
No, because if I did, then I would have probably ended up like Fred.
Well, I mean, and then there's the flip side of that coin.
You should kill yourself now.
Who did that?
Nice soundboard.
Anyway, yeah, I mean, the flip side of that coin is you could have maybe come back and at least gotten to keep the city itself and in the state it was. Your members wouldn't have turned to Lopad. I mean, now they're all over the place. There is no
Yeah.
Mephiston kind of tether that binds everybody anymore. Shadow Fox went to Galeria. Drefteen is probably not going to leave Lopad. Easton is insane now.
Yeah.
Monkey Overlord, he's inactive. I'm assuming he's just going to stay with Swagtopia. And
Yeah.
here you are. I mean, they're all spread out all over the place. Do you have any intentions on going after bringing back people like Shadow Fox?
And maybe in the future, if Shadow Fox reconsiders I was about to say Classopia. Oh my god, Galeria. If he reconsiders Galeria, then I might ask him to come back because honestly, I really miss my members. It's just me and Monkey. That's why I made that one propaganda of me and him together because we're kind of the last Mephistons, kind of. Same with Putmero. I kind of miss Putmero because he was actually a cool person, and he fortunately had to go off because Lopad was just too much for him.
Yeah, I mean, have you reached out to Put Merrill at all?
Probably wouldn't be interested in Mephisto anymore, but if he is, then he's welcome to DM me.
Yeah, it'd be a nice spot for his factory thing, for all that.
Yeah, but I might get fed some dynamic PTSD.
Well, I think with that we'll end the interview then.
Yeah, it was good talking to you.
Yeah, you too. We'll see you guys next time. Is there anything they can follow you on?
They can follow me on YouTube. They can follow me on the Twitter. I run a portion of the Charles SMP Twitter.
Yeah.
I post there almost weekly. I missed one weekly post this week, but yeah, I do my best to post much as I can. And I don't know if you're gonna link my YouTube in this video or not,
I
but
can.
if you want to, go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah. Basically, go subscribe to him on YouTube. Follow the Charlesonia Twitter, and good night. We'll see you guys later.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay, so we have a problem.
What's wrong?